On the next day, we set out at around 5 a.m. just before sunrise and reached Balingaso around 8 a.m. The journey was even more dreamlike, with the beauty of nature enveloping us. We passed by Lipitan, which was considered a sacred place by the Mangyans. It is where they buried their ancestors and where many of the important events in their history took place. This sacred site is presently threatened by people who are planning to build a hydroelectric and irrigation dam. The Mangyans are very much against it, and they vocally expressed their protests. Surveyors have been going there without tribal permission a few months earlier. The Mangyans noted that the intruders have recently stopped going to Lipitan. We do not know whether the ceasing of these incursions is a good or a bad omen. Other problems faced by the Mangyans are mining and encroachment by lowlanders into their ancestral domain. The FMM sisters are pursuing legal approaches to solve the problems, but the workings of the justice system are not quite fast enough. The school in Balingaso is the FMM-assisted elementary school of the tribal education system of the Mangyans there. The one in Danlog, on the other hand, is the intermediate to high school level of education. Both schools of Balingaso and Danlog are named Pamanaka, an acronym created by the tribal elders themselves, who are respectfully addressed as the Gurangons. These schools have been run by the FMM sisters for many years and have just been recently awarded nationally as the best educational system for the indigenous people. Earlier this year, before they received the distinguished award, I brought with me to this place 2 other brothers to study their approach on tribal education. But maybe it was not yet time, and the earlier endeavor did not bear much fruit. But fate smiled on us this time, as one of the brothers with me, Brother Jomer Rubico, a teacher, got a chance to go around and observe the schools during his free time, and was somehow inspired to learn more from the approach of the sisters. This has inspired him to consider working with me in trying to re-establish tribal schools in Jose Abad Santos, many of which have been closed in the past but are still requested and sought after by the tribal villages which have been their beneficiaries. Of course, it will require the blessing of the province and proper coordination with the local ordinary, local officials, and the people who live there. The 2 other brothers have been likewise inspired to lay a helping hand for our indigenous sisters and brothers. Brother Angelo Flores made a resolve to help organize the growing number of lay volunteers to the medical mission, while Brother Labasa, with his talent for the arts, will be a great help for documentary works concerning IP rights and preservation of nature. Our work in Balingaso enabled us to treat 52 patients. The total number of patients treated in this 2-day mission is 207 patients. The village alongside the school at Balingaso is only a small village. Similar villages are still situated in the interior of their ancestral domain. We have only touched the periphery of their territory. The whole medical mission took place under very favorable weather conditions. However, on our way back to Metro Manila, the weather took a turn for the worse, and we became stranded for 2 nights and 1 day in the Calapan seaport due to the mischief of Typhoon Ophel. We suddenly had a lot of time on our hands, so I requested the PNP brothers to kindly make a short reaction paper on their mission experience. I will presently relate to you the fruits of their reflection. Brother Michael Angelo Flores intimates, "We had a great experience in our medical mission in Mindoro. Our encounter with our brother and sister Mangyans, particularly of the Buhit tribe, gave us a glimpse of the richness of their culture and their spirit of oneness with God's creation. Crossing rivers and mountain trekking with them towards their village made me feel and experience the beauty of their ancestral domain, which is unfortunately threatened by some selfish interests. I hope we can also do our share in protecting and upholding the rights of our IP brothers and sisters." Brother Ryan Labasa has this to say, "Isang magaan at masaya at very overwhelming na experience. Hindi ko akalain na ganun kaganda ang kanilang lugar. Well preserved sa kultura at sa kalikasan. Siguro, ang isa na gusto kong balikan doon ay kung papaano sila makitungo sa amin. Mga simpleng tao at higit sa lahat, ang pagiging kontento nila sa kung anong meron sila. At ako, bilang isang relihiyoso, isa sa mga tanong o dapat kong gawin ay kung papaano sila matulungan para manatili ang kanilang kultura at pagkakaroon nila ng karapatang igalang at respetuhin sila. Naway sa pagdating ng panahon, maging isa ang Capuchin Order sa mga boses nila." Finally, Brother Jomer Rubico has this to say, "Personally, I consider my experience with our brother and sister Mangyans as a fruitful one. The place speaks the kind of people living there. The silence tells that our brother and sister Mangyans love peace. The preserved nature shows their concern not only for their fellow Mangyans, but for their future as well. The tribal school which serves as our home base is like a paradise wherein there is serenity. Their rich culture teaches me how simple they are. They are not complicated. They could easily read the changes in the weather through the environment itself. They have a kind of lifestyle which is still preserved from modernization, but unfortunately threatened by that modernization. Our brother and sister Mangyans are accommodating and helpful as well, particularly the staff and students of the tribal school. I personally noticed their care not to neglect their culture. I may say that we did not only had a medical mission. Instead, we had an immersion and educational field trip that has made us aware of their condition, culture, development, and the silent heroes and heroines who generously dedicated their lives to the uplift of the lives of our brother and sister Mangyans." In closing, this second journey to Mindoro Occidental in the form of medical mission work to the Mangyans has opened to us a new door of possibilities for social action with the indigenous people in Luzon. I feel there is a need for us to respond to this. In the meantime, I again would like to extend my gratitude to all you, my brothers of the Capuchin Philippine Province, for your continued support to the Capuchin Medical Mission endeavors. I look forward to a brighter future and more exciting challenges as we continue our apostolate to our indigenous brothers and sisters of this country. As a closing note, the foundress of the FMM once said, "If this is my will, it will die with me. This is God's will, it will flourish." Well, my dear brothers, let's just hope that this is God's will. I remain your brother in Christ, Brother Joel De Jesus, OFMCap, Coordinator, Capuchin Medical Missions.